Hello, everyone, and welcome to CHIUW 2021. And you are hearing me, right? Just to make sure. Okay,
Yes.
I'm seeing a thumbs up. Welcome to CHIUW 2021. My name is Engin Kayraklioglu. I'm the program committee chair of this year's CHIUW. So if you are not familiar with CHIUW, it stands for Chapel Implementers and Users Workshop, and it is the event for Chapel enthusiasts. It will have general information on Chapel, recent developments, uses of Chapel, and some implementation optimization ideas of Chapel and much more. First installation of CHIUW was held in 2014, and typically we do that in conjunction with other conferences like IPDPS or PLDI. But this year it's an independent event, and this year also is a first fully virtual CHIUW. Last year's was also virtual, but the planning was started as a non-virtual event, and for obvious reasons it turned out to be virtual. And this year we just started everything with the virtual setting in mind. In one of the polls that we are planning to do today in our participants, we are planning to ask whether you think this is a good idea in post-pandemic world, or should we stick to in-person, or should we try to find a hybrid approach? So please keep that in mind. So what to expect from this year's CHIUW? There will be 12 submitted talks. Some of them, well, most of them will be 15-minute talks, followed by a Q&A. Some will be 10-minute talks, followed by a Q&A. Our authors span 12 different organizations from 5 different countries and time zones, so it's a really international participants. Really appreciate all the authors from all around the world. Some of the talks will be pre-recorded, some will be live, but even if the talk is pre-recorded, the presenter or one of the authors will be available right after for a Q&A. At this point, you can go to the CHIUW website that is linked on the slide, which has all the submissions as authors have submitted them, and most of the slides already up. So you can just flip through them and see what you're most interested about and prepare some questions. So putting this together would not be possible without the great organization committee. I want to thank everyone here on this list. I especially want to call out Michelle Stroud, Brett Chamberlain, and Rich Woodcock for their help. So the rough agenda looks like this. In about a couple of minutes, I will hand the mic to Brett Chamberlain, who will give his annual traditional state of the project talk. If you are not that familiar with Chapel as a language or as a project, this would be a great starting point. And then we will have our first submitted talk session. And then at 10 a.m. Pacific, the highlight of the day is going to be a keynote by Eric Laurendo of Polytechnique Montreal. I will talk about it in a second, but all our sessions are about an hour, and we have 15-minute breaks in between them. There is no single lunch break because, again, we are like 5 different time zones, so there is no collective lunch, if you will. I mentioned the keynote, and it's the highlight of the day. It will be given by Eric Laurendo of Polytechnique Montreal. Eric is a professor of mechanical engineering, and he is the PI of the team that developed CHAMS, Chapel Multiphysics Simulation Software. And in his keynote, he will share his experiences in the intersection of CFD, aircraft design, and HPC, and how Chapel is helping him and his team in their day-to-day research. I'm pretty excited and looking forward to his talk. And again, this is going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific. Another item in the agenda that I want to advertise is lightning talks. So at the end, we will have a lightning talk session that will hopefully turn into some sort of open community discussion, kind of an open-ended end to the workshop, if you will. So if you have any ongoing Chapel-related work, it might be previously published, or it might be just a planned project that you want to, pitch the idea to the general chapel community and see if you can get some discussion or some feedback for the idea. This would be a great opportunity. So what we are thinking is 2 to 5 minutes per speaker. If you want, you can send 1 or 2 slides that we are going to share probably, but you don't have to. You can just talk for 2 to 5 minutes as well if you want. So if you're interested, please reach out to me or Michelle Stroud through Zoom chat through the day, or if you have other means of reaching us, I think that should be also fine. But Zoom chat would be ideal if you want to sign up for lightning talks. So some logistics, we will use Slido. Some of you may have seen it already in other communications. Slido will be used for Q&A and running some polls with the audience. So if you haven't checked it out, please go to this link on the slide. It also has nice mobile support, so you can scan the QR code on your mobile device and go there. So you will ask your questions during the talks on Slido, and we will moderate them just lightly to prevent spam, basically. And session chairs will relay the questions to the presenters after their talk. We also plan to run some polls on Slido, and currently, if you go there, you will see just one poll available right off the bat. It's just a simple 1-question poll, really. Please fill that out and get yourself familiar with Slido. Throughout today, we also plan to put a general CHIUW feedback poll as well. Feel free to use Zoom chat for technical issues or like casual conversation sort of thing. Of course, keeping things in in limits of professionalism. Oops, I lost my slide. And that would be all from me. Thank you again for being here, for being a member of the Chapel community. I hope you will have a kind of an informative and fun day today. And with that, I will hand it over to Brad Chamberlain if he's ready. Brad, you're there?